So guys, an update on that house that they said was too good to demolish, and now they're demolishing. Well, actually, they're not demolishing it. So what I saw was they stripped out all the underneath of it, and they put a massive tarp over the top. And I thought, what are they doing? And massive trucks arrived. They seem to have taken it to another location. They've sold it or something, and they've actually taken it to another location because the hardwood floors in that were such beautiful wide ones that you only see in, it's a 40s house, but you only see those sort of floorboards in century-old houses these days, or you know, early 1900s houses or 1800s houses, of floorboards of that type, that caliber. So little update there. So I'm very happy to share that with you. So they're not demolishing that one after all. They were a bit sensible, but there will be a monstrosity going up, which will be made out of inferior materials, unfortunately. But what can we do? That's just a part of what's going on. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the title of today's video is The Most Important Thing I Learnt About, and check out my little Egyptian mummy here. It's like a pencil case. I bought these two from the op shop, but I'm keeping them. They were sold in the British Museum in the 80s and 90s, and like on the inside, look at that. Oh, so yeah, they go, there's not many available, and they sell for a decent price on eBay, but I'm keeping them there for me. So anyway, okay, so what I learned about science and archaeology and all of these subjects, which led to the skepticism I have for many of the established positions that you might have noticed I take on this channel, was taught to me by professors of these subjects. It was not taught to me by rank and file, who would teach you to venerate these professors and honour them and copy everything they say as some kind of gospel. The skepticism that I learned was taught to me directly by these people, by these professors. There was a great guy at Melbourne Uni, Neil Thomason. The subject was the history and philosophy of science. The very first lecture, we went in and he's grinning. He's got his evil grin on his face. Thinking, oh, what's going on? Oh, we're watching a movie or something. What is it? What's this movie? What do you think it is? The subject is the history and philosophy of science. The movie is the Milgram experiment. The Milgram experiment. So, and every time he comes in, he says hi to the new people, and he's grinning, and you know, he's an American guy. He struck me as maybe New Yorkish type. And people had told me before that he was he had been their favourite professor, and he was showing us the Milgram experiment, the electrocution. People were doing electrocutions, but only when it was in a scientific setting. They were electrocuting people, but only in a scientific setting, not in a. They tried it in a random factory and in an abandoned warehouse at an odd hour, and the people would refuse more, because there wasn't this authority hanging over them. But they're confronted with a guy at a university in a white lab coat, and they're saying, you must continue, the experiment must continue. And they're confronted, they're presented with a lethal XXX, and they're asked to press that button to punish the subject, and they do it. And I believe it was found that I think 2/3 would do it. So straight away, he taught us that there was a massive problem with science, a huge problem. And this is that people will believe it. People are credulous. They'll just absolutely believe things if they are told these things by someone they think is in authority. And I notice that a lot, all the time. And it baffles me, because I've never been like that. I've always had enough hatred for the common man that I know they're talking rubbish. Being a true boy in the spirit of, what was that bloke? James Dean. That's right, James Dean. Rebel without a cause. So basically, James Dean hates everyone. So he hates his father. He hates everyone. He doesn't like anyone. And if you don't have that, you're going to believe them. You're going to love them too much. You're going to do what they say, and eventually they're going to lead you into a camp. I mean, that's just the way it is. So that was amazing. Another good professor, Ian Plimmer, you can look up his videos. I had one subject with him back in 2000, and he basically said he was teaching that the whole global warming thing is not nonsense. It's all rubbish is what he was teaching. And he said, you've got a mass, one of the main things he was teaching was you've got a mass of data doing this. Charts doing this on top of each other, overlapping. And now you're giving me these dot points on the, when you've got all this hundreds of overlapping information, orbital cycles and different changing cycles and things, and you're giving me these dots and you're saying there's a correlation. No, and that's not obviously how you do a scientific experiment at all, yet it is being done. So he had indoctrinated us in this way, and he was at the time the head of Melbourne Uni Geology. Another scientist, professor, head of a school, I'm not sure if Thomason was, saying that you can't believe these guys. Two more were botanists. So one of them, he was fantastic. He said, I came to Melbourne Uni, I think he said in 1959 or something. So I was at Melbourne Uni 2000 to 2002. I did a Bachelor of Chemistry, Science there, Bachelor of Chemistry. And I can't remember his name, but he was amazing. And he was, and he taught us about the Thomas Kuhn, which Neil Thomason also taught us about the scientific revolutions. And he said, everyone will hate a theory until the paradigm shifts. And then they'll say, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, clever. He said, that's normal. That's normal. Don't worry about that. Another one, this was in cell biology, second year. It was a fantastic, I remember this with great fondness because it was a subject which was, for some reason, it was a very easy subject. We just had to turn up and do basic experiments on cells and go to very basic lectures. This subject called cell biology, but it's about basically studying the behavior of cells and what they do under the microscope when you put them under certain solutions and stuff. And compared to things like biochemistry, which was a medicine subject, which I found extremely difficult, but passed with the honours. I passed it. But this cell biology was so easy. I never understood why. But in one lecture, one of the lecturers, he was thumping his chest and he was so excited, and he was saying, these idiots have published a paper of cellular mitosis, and they say there's and they've attached 3 or 4 photographs, and they're saying it's going from this stage to this stage to this stage to this stage. And he was trashing this paper, saying it's rubbish. This paper is rubbish. They haven't proven a link. They're just assuming the link between that photo there and 3 hours later, that photo there. And they're saying these organelles have moved from here to here, or this DNA has moved from here to here inside the cell. And he's saying, no, you haven't proven that, as they're claiming they've proven. All you've done is saying, this photo shows this photo shows this. And he said, you really have to tear these things apart because they're publishing these things and they're not true. So what do you think? Tell me in the comments what you think about that. And it's the same with archaeology, guys. It's exactly the same because they're only publishing what's easy to publish. Bear that in mind. If it's hard to publish, if it's challenging paradigms, So tell me what you think about all this. Because I've been through this scientific research process. I've been through it. I've done it. So I know what these people get up to and what they think of their own work sometimes. So, because people worship these guys, don't. Form your own ideas and test them out, see if they work. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed the fun little talk. Hope that was fun. Tell me what you think in the comments, and cheerio.